Greetings and welcome back to the Casual Wargamer. Another look at a Grotmas detachment for 2024. Today, in this video, we're looking at the Genestealer Cults and their final day detachment. This is another one that seems to have got a lot of vitriol from the community, and I sort of get why. I think it's been done wrong, but you know, it's a new detachment, it's something different to play, so let's just take a look at it and see what we think. So, detachment rule is psionic parasitism. I'm not sure parasitism is a word, but I could be wrong. At the end of your movement phase, for each Tyrannid synapse unit from your army, you can select one friendly Genestealer Cults unit, excluding pure strain Genestealers and the Patriarch, and one friendly Tyrannid unit, each within 9 inches of and visible to that synapse unit. It's another wordy one. If you do, that Genestealer Cults unit from your army suffers D3 plus 1 mortal wounds, and one model in your selected Tyrannid unit regains up to that many lost wounds, and until the start of your next movement phase, each time a model in the selected Tyrannid unit makes an attack roll, add 1 to the hit roll. Oh, that could have been worded better. Okay, so this is a detachment that's built around you taking Genestealer Cult with Tyrannid allies. In fact, you can include Tyrannids from the Vanguard Invader, excluding Aircraft, Broodlord, and Genestealers, up to a certain number of points based on size of the game, 500, 1,000, 1,500, and no Tyrannids can be your Warlord. It also has the ability called Catalyst. This is for Tyrannid units in your army. While an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this unit, each time a friendly Genestealer Cults unit makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, add 1 to the hit roll. So it basically... So this is the problem. Let's start this properly. The reason that people are slightly up in arms with this detachment is because this is a Genestealer Cult army that requires you to field Tyrannids, which not every Genestealer Cultist player has, but also requires you to use this ability to kill off your Genestealer Cult to boost your fewer in number Tyrannid allies. This should have been a Tyrannid detachment that took Genestealer Cult allies and did this effect. I really think Games Workshop kind of flipped this and didn't do it right. There's also the argument I've seen in the communities that say that restricting you to just Vanguard Invader units is a little unfair, but there's also the counter argument that if you allowed any Tyrannid units, then suddenly you're running effectively Crusher Stampede with Genestealer Cult. And while I think that would be quite cool, there are people who feel that that would have a balance issue. Yeah, it really needed to be a Tyrannid and Genestealer Cult allies. But hey-ho, it's an interesting idea that your Genestealers, your Tyrannids have turned up and your Genestealer Cult ally are now basically a resource. You're killing them off, either siphoning their brains or eating them to get those wounds back. It's an interesting idea. I just don't think it's done very, very well. You have 4 enhancements, as always. You have the Synaptic Auger for 15 points. It must go on a Tyrannid model. Now, I had to go and check. I was sure that there were some GSC models that had the Tyrannid keyword, but apparently not, which is a bit weird. There are some I really would have thought should have had that keyword. So this is basically going on your Tyrannids. Each time the bearer would regain 1 or more lost wounds from the psionic parasitism detachment rule, it regains up to twice that number of lost wounds instead. That's quite nice. Considering that you can take a winged hive tyrant, because it's a vanguard organism, that could potentially make that hive tyrant quite hard to kill, but we'll see. Enraptured Damnation for 10 points. Genestealer Cult only. Enemy units cannot fire Overwatch on them. Nice. Vanguard Tyrant, 25 points. Must go on that winged hive tyrant that I mentioned a moment ago, and it improves the strength and AP of their melee weapons by 1. Very nice. And Inhuman Integration for 20 points. Genestealer Cult only. Weapons equipped by models in the various unit have sustained hits when targeting enemy unit within 6 of one or more friendly Tyranids. So the Tyranids run up, and anything that starts to try to get in their way, you get sustained hits on them. Nice. It's all about the hive mind pushing the cultist biomass to basically further the hive fleet's goals. And I get that as a detachment theme. Then you've got your 6 stratagems. First up is Hyper Ferocity. In the fight phase, one Genestealer Cult unit has not been selected to fight in this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, re-roll a wound roll of 1. If one or more friendly Tyranid units are within 6 inches of that enemy, you can re-roll the wound roll instead. Quite nice. Psi Surge. Start of any phase, one Tyranid unit from your army. Until the start of the next command phase, increase the range of your unit's catalyst ability by 3. But this is a once per battle round effect. You can't use it again until your next command phase. Avenge the Star Children. In your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase, after an enemy unit is shot or fought, one Tyranid's character from your army that was destroyed by that model this phase, destroyed by that enemy unit this phase, you can use this stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. And until the end of the battle, each time a Genestealer Cults model from your army makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, add 1 to their hit and wound rolls. So they kill your Tyranid character, presumably your Winged Hive Tyrant, and then that unit basically gets the wrath of the rest of your army. Nice. Divine Imperative. In your charge phase, one Genestealer Cult unit from your army that's not been selected to charge this phase. You select one or more enemy units. You set one enemy unit with an engagement range of one or more Tyranid units from your army until the end of the phase. Each time your Genestealer Cult units makes a charge. If they charge that target, they get +1 to their charge rolls, and you can re-roll the charge roll. Yeah, that's nice. Use that on the right unit, and your quid's in. Darting Attacks. In your shooting phase or charge phase, one Tyranid unit from your army. Till the end of the phase, your unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge on the turn in which it fell back. Again, it's giving you, like with Psi Surge, it's pushing you to take Tyranids, maxing out your Tyranids to get these abilities. And lastly, you have Resistance Tunnels. End of your opponent's fight phase, one Genestealer Cult or Tyranids unit from your army not within engagement range goes off the battlefield back into strategic reserve. So I quite like this. It's giving you a bit more variety, but because it doesn't specify, your Tyranid units can jump into these tunnels and pop up somewhere else. Your Winged Hive Tyrant runs off and reappears over there. But it's a nice tactical stratagem. So all in all, the Last Day detachment I think is okay. I don't think it's amazing. And it does require you to have certain Tyranid units to go with it, which you may or may not have as a GSC player. Some people might now go out and buy some, which I think is largely the point of Games Workshop doing some of these allied detachments. All in all, not bad. I just think it should have been a Tyranid detachment with GSC allies instead. What are your thoughts on this one? Let me know down below in the comments. If you are a GSC player, would you do this? Do you already own Tyranids, or would you have to go out and buy them? Would you go out and buy them in order to try this detachment, or is this just a no-go? Let me know what you think down below. In the meantime, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you shortly in the next video. Till then, take care, guys. Good gaming.